Chapter 4. And I said, baby, I want to make you love me. I want to let you hold me. Want you to stay with me. And baby, you know I leave you never. I want you for forever. So please, baby, let's not fight. Everything will be alright. You're the one I need tonight. Please, baby, stay with me tonight. Song, Stay With Me. Artist, The Kind of September. From the album, 17 Times Over. 1 week. We have one blissful week off before the release of Meet Me on the Midway. The guys are taking that time to spend with their friends and family that they don't get to see while they're out on tour. I'm taking the time to catch up on my Marketing 2301 homework. When I first broke the news to my parents 2 years ago that I was foregoing the traditional college route in order to run around with a group of guys who like to sing and perform, and let's face it, wear pants about 2 sizes too tight, they weren't overly enthusiastic. Granted, I was 18 and I didn't need their permission, but as their daughter, I still wanted their approval. They knew what a great opportunity working with the guys would be for me. After all, how many people can say that they're in the inner circle of a famous band? It's given me the chance to travel the world, meet people, learn new skills, and earn a living doing what I love with the people I love. I'm extremely thankful for that, and so are my parents. However, they still lamented the fact that I wouldn't have a normal college experience. I could understand that. They met in college. They've both often said that college was the best time in their lives, apart from welcoming their wonderful, gorgeous, brilliant child into the world, of course. They don't want me to miss out on anything. That's where our compromise comes in. I agreed to take online courses. I don't take as much as I would as a full-time student, but I've gotten at least a few English and history credits out the way. I'm dreading math, but hey, Sam is actually really good at it. Maybe he can help me out. I actually haven't seen the guys or Joni very much at all this week. We've texted, but for the most part, everyone's kind of doing their own thing. Josh and Jesse have been hanging out with friends from high school. Oliver has been spending a lot of time at home with his family and his dog. Corey apparently has been Skyping non-stop with Tara, who thankfully stayed in LA while the rest of us flew back home to the Bay Area. And Sam, as far as I know, hasn't left his house and has been binge-watching Netflix, eating home-cooked meals and sleeping. Of course, the tabloids are telling a different story. Sam Morneau, wasted. Mega heartthrob and member of the popular boy band, The Kind of September, Sam Morneau was spotted early Friday morning leaving a club in downtown San Francisco with friends. The young singer, who is under the age of 21, apparently drunk and disheveled as he tripped and stumbled out of his way into the streets into a wandering car. This is so stupid, I mutter as my mom sits down next to me on the couch. What? Nothing, just dumb rumors. Is it about Sam? Mom asks. I look at her. I'm shocked to see that she looks concerned, almost nervous. Mom, you don't actually believe that he would do this, do you? No, sweetie, of course not. I know Sam. He's been a good friend to you for a very long time. It's just, well... What? I demand. This isn't the first article to be written like this, and they seem to be appearing more and more. Mom, they're lies! I can't believe she's saying this to me. She knows Sam. She's known him since we were little kids. How could she even suspect that any of these awful reports are real? I promise you none of this is true. These are just stupid gossip columnists and phony reporters trying to make a buck. Sam is still the same guy, I promise you. I know, Melissa, and I believe you, she says, scooting closer to me. I'm just a little worried about what you're being exposed to. What do you mean? I mean, you've been out there for 2 years now. I know you can take care of yourself. You're smart and you've experienced so much more than I had at 20. You've done more than I have even now. I just want to make sure that it's an appropriate atmosphere for you. You're still so young. If you're being exposed to anything indecent or... Mom! I leap to my feet. This is ridiculous. I know you're trying to protect me, but please hear me out. The guys are not what the media makes them out to be. I don't know why these people think it's okay to make up stuff like this, but they do. It's nothing new. It's been happening to singers and actors and other famous people for years, and it's going to keep happening. But you can't believe everything you read. I know that, but I'm your mother. I worry. Can you really blame me? No. I sigh and sit back down. The truth is, honey, I know how you feel about Sam. I know he's your friend, but I also know he's more to you than that. And the last thing I want is to see you get hurt. Her voice and her eyes, the same shape and color as mine, are completely sincere. As much as she loves Sam, I know there's also part of her that resents him for not liking me back. She's felt that way ever since he and the guys decided to skip our senior prom to go perform a last-minute show after we all agreed to go as a group. Joni and I decided to ditch prom as well to accompany them on their gig. It actually turned out to be a pretty fantastic night anyway, but I'll admit, I still would have liked to have one dance with him. Mom, he's not going to hurt me, I promise. I hope so, sweetheart, because you deserve the world. I love you, I say and wrap my arms around her shoulders, breathing in her warm, familiar perfume. It smells like my childhood and like home. I love you too. Every time we come home, Sam's mom, Laurel, invites everyone over to celebrate and to just enjoy some downtime together. Laurel has always loved hosting parties, even before Sam bought her her dream house in Marin County. Now she loves hosting them even more, but with Sam on the road so often, she claims she never has much of a reason to throw one. For the party, I prepared my famous peanut butter chip brownies. They're Sam's favorite. I'm not much use in the kitchen most of the time, but I have to admit, I make some damn good brownies. By the time we arrive, the Foremans and the Berkeleys are already there. I'm not sure Jesse's family will make it. They live up near Napa, but I'm sure Josh and his parents will show up. Sam is waiting to greet us even before we make it to the door. Somehow he looks extra handsome whenever he's home. He's wearing dark skinny jeans and a loose white button-down shirt. His hair is messy as ever, and his broad smile is absolutely contagious. Welcome, he exclaims, throwing his arms out. I go in to hug him, but Mom gets there first. I guess she's gotten over whatever reservations she had about me being around him earlier. Sam, it's so good to see you, she tells him. You too, Mrs. Parker. Even though Sam's mom insists that we call her Laurel, Sam has never felt comfortable addressing anyone else's parents that way. My brother and sister are next. To my little brother Aiden, Sam is the older brother he wishes he had. He's 7, and in his eyes, Sam is a regular superhero. My little sister Brooklyn, however, is just about as taken with Sam as I am. She smiles shyly up at him and giggles when he asks her how she's doing. At 13, all of her friends listen to The Kind of September, but she is incredibly modest about having grown up with several of its members. After them, my dad claps a hand on Sam's shoulder and says, Looking good, son. Thank you, sir. Sam is always so polite to my family. Finally, it's my turn to greet him. Even though we've texted, I haven't actually gotten to see him in almost a week. That's not okay. Instead of a smile or a hug, however, he just stares down at the platter in my hands. Is that what I think it is? He asks. Maybe, I tease. You are my favorite person on this planet, he says, and finally pulls me into his arms. There, in his warm and sturdy embrace, I can't help thinking. Likewise. After he lets me go, he takes the brownies from me. I don't trust you with them, he jokes, and leads me inside, where everyone is hugging and greeting one another. Joni is by my side in an instant. Thank God you're here, she remarks. What's going on? I'm just tired of listening to my brother run his mouth about Tara and how he wants to bring her home for Christmas, and how Sam really needs to consider going out with that Courtney girl because she really, really, really liked him. Of course she liked him. He's Sam Morneau. Everyone likes him. Do you think he'll really bring her home for Christmas? That's kind of a big step, and they really haven't been dating that long. Right? Joni agrees. I don't know. I just thought of all the guys, Jesse would be the one to pull some stupid stunt with a model, or Josh, or even Sam. I'd have expected any one of them before my brother. I think Sam's smarter than that, I say. Oh, come on, Mel. I know you two have, like, a thing or whatever, but he's a guy, and guys are stupid. I want to ask her what she meant by a thing, but Oliver approached us before I could get the chance. Hey, stranger. He greets me with a one-armed hug. Oliver, you should be honored, I tell him. Oh? Why's that? According to Joni, you are the one decent member of the entire band. Come to think of it, you might be the only decent member of your entire species. And by entire species, I mean men. And just like that, Oliver blushes like crazy. It's so adorable. I wonder how Joni would react if she knew how he felt about her. Even though she's basically sworn off singers, performers, and celebrities in general, I'm secretly hoping she'd make an exception for Oliver. I didn't say the others aren't decent, but I do think you're the only one smart enough to know better than to date a stupid, shallow clout chaser. Hey. Sam appears looking thoroughly offended, even with a mouthful of brownie. I'll have you know that the last girl I dated was very smart. That's because you were in kindergarten and she got a gold star for drawing a pony, Joni remarks. She set the bar pretty high, Sam jokes. Sam actually has dated since kindergarten. In fact, he's had 2 fairly serious girlfriends. The first was a girl we went to high school with named Cameron Griffith. She was really smart, and if I hadn't been so jealous, I'd almost go as far to say they were kind of cute together. But she was a real perfectionist and overachiever, and she didn't like the idea of dating a guy who wanted to be a musician. The second was a girl he met after the band released their first album, an aspiring singer named Joyce Berlin. She was actually pretty talented, and I think has gone on to record her first EP. Anyway, she was his first and only real high-profile relationship, regardless of what the tabloids would have readers believe. After Josh and his family arrived, Laurel escorts all of us outside to her beloved backyard. It's her absolute favorite part of her new home. She has an amazing garden of rose bushes and buds of every color. She's also decorated the bushes and fence with white twinkling lights. I've always thought of her backyard with its bright colors, sweet smell of flowers, and overall sense of serenity was like a little piece of heaven on earth. We eat in groups at the white steel tea table she has set up for what will be our last night with our families together until Christmas time. Laurel has prepared rotisserie chicken, rosemary potatoes, green beans, and an amazing assortment of bread and rolls. It's a bittersweet event, to be sure, but the food is incredible. In the middle of dinner, Josh's dad stands up, holding his wine glass in the air. I'd like to propose a toast, he says with a goofy grin that is practically identical to Josh's. You can totally tell that they're father and son. Everyone stops talking and turns to look at him. First of all, to all of us here tonight, our wonderful friends, I can't tell you how honored I am to be a part of this extended family. The group responds with, "Hear, hear," next to our talented sons and daughters and all the hard work they put into making their dreams come true. Cheers! I'll drink to that. And finally to the new album. You all are stars, and we couldn't be more proud of you. It's only then that everyone begins to applaud. Wait. Sam rises, holding up his glass of water. I'd like to add thanks to all of you, our parents, our families, for supporting us. Hear, hear! All of the kids cheer. And most importantly, to the fans. I don't know if they'll ever know how much they mean to us, but without them, we wouldn't be here. So here's to them. To the fans! Josh yells. Cheers! Sometimes it's easy to forget, living in such a tight-knit bubble, that there are other people in the world. Maybe because working in the background, we really don't see too much of them. But to the guys, the fans are absolutely everything. I'd even go as far as to say they care about the fans more than their well-being. I think that's one of the reasons why people love them so much. They're themselves, they're appreciative, and they absolutely adore and cherish their fans. Once we've all finished eating, we disperse again into small groups. Josh is off sharing crazy stories and stupid jokes with the parents. Sam and I are back with Oliver, Corey, and Joni, who, like before, is dominating the conversation by complaining about Tara, tabloids, and other distractions. I have to admit, I've been tuned out for a while when I feel someone lean into me. Want to go for a walk? Sam mutters in my ear, his hot breath on my skin. His very proximity makes me feel like I've been struck by 10,000 volts of electricity. I glance up at him, his handsome features soft and subtle in the violet glow of early nightfall, and I find I can only nod. Without telling anyone where we're going, we slip out the side gate to the alley and around to the sidewalk. We used to walk together to the playground all the time when we were younger. On occasion, we'd race. He'd always win. Or exchange tidbits of useless information that we, for some reason, bothered to learn over the years. Most of the time, however, we just talk, which is why I end up asking, "Are you okay? Do you have something on your mind?" "Nah, I just wanted to get away from the drama." He nudges me playfully. He knows I know exactly what he's talking about. And it's such a nice evening. I just kind of wanted to enjoy it. One last night before the chaos starts up again. "I know what you mean," I say. Well, sort of. "No, you definitely do. You work just as much as we do, and you take classes on top of it. Speaking of which, did you finish your assignments?" "I did. Now I just have the final exams, which I don't think should be too hard. They're scheduled for the week the album is released, though. So it'll be a bit hectic, but I'll be fine. It always is." "You're so smart. It'll be a breeze for you." Sam grins at me. We'll see." I smile, wondering if he'll ever know how his compliments affect me. "What about you? Are you ready for it all?" "Oh yeah. It's what I love. I am going to miss this, though. This time away from the cameras and the craziness. It's nice to just be here at home," he says, glancing around at the trees, the houses, the California sky over the distant hills. "Then again, I can't wait to get back on the road, spending nights in hotels, and on our tour bus being on stage. Those are moments I live for, you know?" "Yeah, I do. I just wish the media would give you a break." He shrugs. "It's just a thing. I can deal with it." I know he can. Sam is strong, much stronger than I am. I hate the lies and gossip that are spread about him. If any such thing had been written about me, I'd go crazy. Sam is actually a really good influence on me in that respect. Every time I think to get angry or upset, he manages to calm me down and put things in perspective. I never met someone with such a positive outlook on everything. Near the end of our walk, a couple of young girls who can't be older than 6 or 7 approach Sam with their mom. He smiles and greets them like just seeing them has made his entire night. They both give him huge hugs, and he graciously poses with them for a picture that their mother snaps on their smartphone. Then, he signs autographs for each of them before wishing them a good night and sweet dreams. And he's supposed to be the wild-partying ladies' man. Chapter 5. Spinning round, until the world begins to fade, and I don't think I'll live to run, or see another day. Her love, it leaves me on the ground, while she falls away. 17 times. 17 times over. Song 17 times over. Artist, The Kind of September. From the album, 17 times over. This morning, we're all awake bright and early to catch a flight to New York, where the guys will spend most of their time being interviewed by talk shows, news outlets, and just about every person with a microphone. After emotional goodbyes and promises to call our families as often as we can, the entire group, bandmates, musicians, security, managers, all of us are escorted to a private waiting area where we will all spread out immediately to wait for our flight. Something that the guys have always strived to emulate is individuality. When Josh and Oliver first joined, they expressed concern that as part of a boy band, they might be viewed as clones, and although they wanted to present themselves as one team, one band, they also want to be known as themselves. They don't dress alike. They put their own spin on their choreographed routines. They're 5 guys in one outstanding group, and none of them ever have a problem being who they are. For example, all 5 have drastically different relationships with early mornings. Jesse is the one who has to be physically dragged out of bed, and once he actually is up, he has to have some sort of coffee or energy drink before he can force himself to talk or have any kind of human interaction. Honestly, though, it's kind of his fault. He and Josh are total night owls, and they're the ones we always have to hush whenever we're all asleep in the same room or on one of our tour buses. But at least Josh is pleasant in the mornings. That boy falls asleep with a smile every night, and he wakes up with one every morning. He's just a great person to be around all the time, especially when it's 2 a.m. and you're trying to sleep after a 12-hour workday, and he won't stop laughing or making weird noises. Then there's Corey, who is more of a morning person than anyone else I've ever met, except perhaps his sister. They're both highly ambitious and motivated people. They seem even more so when they first wake up. That's probably why Corey gets so many things tossed at him at times like this. While the rest of the guys are relaxing, trying to steal a few extra wings, Corey likes to discuss their plans for the day. This morning, however, he seemed too preoccupied with his phone to care about what the others are doing. Oliver, surprisingly, is probably the worst of the bunch. He's sweet and adorable most of the time, but he can actually get a little snappy when he's tired. I told you that Josh and Jesse will be the ones being shushed late at night. Well, Oliver is always the first to do the shushing. It's more of an issue at night than in the morning. But if he hasn't gotten a proper night's rest, he can be just as crabby in the AM. We never admit it to him, but both Joni and I agree that cranky Oliver is actually really precious. Finally, there's Sam. Sam in the morning has always reminded me of a sad, sleepy puppy. His eyes get droopy, his hair is always a disaster. He usually wears something like sweatpants and a hoodie. He barely talks, and when he does, his voice is hoarse and much lower than it normally is. He's never in a bad mood, but I don't think he fully wakes up until at least an hour later. As for me, I'm not a morning person, but I can usually wake myself up and get myself together fairly quickly. Unlike Sam, Jesse, and Josh, who are always camped out and dozing, I'm hanging with the awake crowd consisting of Oliver, Corey, and Joni. One day I'm going to buy a giant teddy bear and plant it on Jesse, I think. Oliver remarks. That would be so funny, I say. It would be too. Yeah, then I'm going to post it on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. In fact, we might just make it the new album cover. I'd buy it, I tell him. Really? Definitely. I'd buy the teddy bear, Joni remarks. I realize I should probably be taking this rare and limited downtime to study for my upcoming final exam, but I feel like I spend the majority of my week off doing schoolwork. Now, I just want to spend time with my friends and prepare for our next adventure. By the time we board, Josh, Jesse, and Sam are finally awake enough to at least act like functioning members of the human race, if not society. I happily take an aisle seat next to Sam and Jesse. The whole group knows that I'm something of a nervous flyer. That's why I usually prefer life on the tour bus to hopping around on airplanes. That bus might be cramped and crowded, and more often than not, it smells like a strange mixture of cologne, stale popcorn, and a mountain of men's dirty socks, but at least it stays on the ground. Then again, sharing that one itty-bitty teeny-tiny bathroom with all of them might just make it a toss-up. Life on the road with the hottest band on the planet? Not glamorous. But at least they're entertaining. Say cheese, Sam announces and holds his smartphone up to take a selfie of Jesse, him, and me. Are you tweeting that? Jesse asks. Nope, this one's just for me. Sam takes a lot of pictures. He has this fancy camera that he absolutely in love with, and he takes it everywhere he goes. Right now, however, it's packed up and stowed away with the rest of our luggage, so he has to resort to snapping pictures on his phone. Good, I look horrible, Jesse murmurs and runs a hand through his messy auburn locks. Somehow, even though he in no way intended for it to be so, he makes it look like a seductive gesture. That's probably why, next to Sam, he gets the most attention from girls. When the plane finally starts to move, the flight attendant steps out to begin going over safety procedures. I've heard this drill so many times that I could probably recite it from memory. Besides, with the plane preparing to take off, I'm trying my best to stay calm and not let my flight jitters get the best of me. Sam knows that I'm nervous. Every flight that he sits next to me, he offers his hand during takeoff. I always take it. Today is no exception. As the plane turns onto the runway, he lays his hand down on the armrest between us, palm up and fingers slightly spaced out. I take it, and immediately, flying doesn't seem that scary at all. Okay, I'll admit that there is a small part of me that always tries to get a seat next to Sam, just so I can hold his hand like this. Holding hands with him is one of my favorite things in the world. But the fear of flying is still there, and is, in fact, a real nuisance when I'm not sitting next to him.
You okay?
He asks me. Yep, great, I reply, sounding breathless. Thankfully, as far as he knows, that's because I'm stricken with terror, and not because his fingers are currently laced through mine.
Melissa, I can't believe you made it through that flight to Australia last year,
Jesse remarks. Easy. I took a Dramamine.
There you have it. She was unconscious.
Sam laughs. The rest of the flight is relatively uneventful. Jesse dozes off again, his head resting against the closed window. Sam listens to music, and I bury my nose in the newest Meg Cabot book. The others like to make fun of my young adult literature addiction. But hey, at least I read. I bet you anything that right now, Josh is playing a video game, Oliver is watching Netflix on his iPad, Corey is messaging Tara, and Joni is complaining about it. I ask you, who is the cultured one in this group? Once we land in New York, we're giving 20 minutes for lunch before the guys are whisked away to the dressing rooms for a day of interviews with a host of reporters from a variety of news outlets. They're the kind, where the interviewers sit down one at a time with the guys in a dark room with an enormous picture of the new album cover in the background. Most of the time, they ask questions about the album, sometimes touring, and sometimes it gets personal, even downright silly. For example, who's the biggest prankster of the group? Who is most likely to kiss and tell? Whose feet smell the worst? The answers to those questions, by the way, are Josh, Jesse, and Josh again. Sam's feet are a close second, though. Today, however, I'm guessing most of the questions will be about the new album and the upcoming tour. Fans, of course, are ecstatic, as are the guys. They're always excited to talk about their new music. Joni and I only see them for a brief moment before they meet with the first reporter, but they all look great. By now, they've each established their own individual look. Jesse is the sexy rock star. Oliver is cute and stylish nerdy. Corey is a throwback to the late 90s. Josh is dreamy in an all-American kind of way. And Sam is trendy and a little rebellious. Their interview, as expected, starts with questions about the new album. What are their favorite songs? How long did it take to write? Is this the best album yet? Then comes the personal questions. Or, as a reporter puts it, the questions that millions of girls around the world want to know the answer to. For instance, what do you look for in a girlfriend? Josh wants a girl who likes to laugh and is into sports. Oliver likes girls who are smart. Jesse isn't sure, but he wants to be able to talk with her about anything. Sam's answer is my favorite. He says,
I want her to be my best friend. I want to know she loves me for me.
I hope for a fleeting moment that maybe, just maybe, he's talking about me. But I know deep down that if he did have feelings for me, he would have said something by now. Sam's not a shy guy. He's not very subtle. He's so very caring, and he always wears his heart on his sleeve. If he has feelings for someone, he's going to let her know. Finally, it's Corey's turn to talk about his ideal girlfriend. Of course, he responds with,
Well, I'm kind of dating mine right now.
Oh, please. Joni scoffs. What? I ask. Tara Meeks is not his ideal girlfriend. She isn't anyone's ideal girlfriend. Joni, why do you hate her so much? I ask. I mean, yeah, she is kind of stuck up and a little rude, but to be honest, I'm sure other male celebrities have dated a lot worse. I told you, she can't get famous on her own, so she's using my brother. No, she's using all of them to make a name for herself. She doesn't care about him, and he just doesn't see it. He doesn't know what this is doing to the entire band. The guys seem okay with it. I mean, I don't think they're big fans or anything, but they seem to at least be happy for him. I'm not talking about how they feel about it. I'm talking about the fans, the media. What do you mean? I ask. I've been talking to Stan and a few of the other crew members. They think that with the album release and the tour coming up, it's better for the band's image and their relationship with the fans if the guys at least appear to be single. Joni explains. Stan, for the record, is the band's manager. He's the one who basically runs all of our lives. Wait, what? This is the first time I've heard of that. And I've got to be honest, it doesn't make much sense to me. Why are the guys so popular, Mel? Because people like their music. Of course there's that, but think about it. Most of the fans are girls, young and single girls. And Stan thinks that those fans would be more loyal to a group of guys who are, for all intents and purposes, unattached. Personally, I don't think that's giving the fans enough credit. But at the same time, with all the tabloids trying to stir up drama, I can't help but think he might have a point. Reports of bad behavior and rude girlfriends are huge turnoffs for some fans, and they should be. So Stan doesn't think the guy should be dating at all. That's news to me also. I guess if they've dated someone halfway decent, it would probably be okay. But if they do, I think he would definitely prefer that they keep it on the down low. And if I'm right about Tara, which I'm pretty sure I am, she wants to make it known as far and wide as humanly possible that she is dating Corey Foreman. It's sickening. So is that why you don't want to date any of the guys? I asked, thinking of Oliver. No. It's because I'm not into workplace relationships or guys who are constantly in the spotlight. We watch from the sidelines, but just imagine what it must be like to actually date that. No privacy, constant gossip and speculation. It'll be horrible. But if you really cared about him, don't you think it'd be worth it? She looks me in the eye. Exactly who are we talking about here, Mel? No one. I try to shrug it off. I'm just being hypothetical. I said before that I'm pretty sure Joni knows I'm harboring a secret crush on one of the guys. In fact, she probably knows it's Sam. She grew up with us too. I'm sure she's seen the way I act around him. Maybe she's pretended not to notice in order to spare my feelings. But that would go against her God-given instincts to tell me what to do, which would probably be to forget Sam Morneau altogether. That, or maybe I'm just a better actress than I give myself credit for all these years. The guys end their long day of interviews with an acoustic performance of Highway, their second single off the new album. Although they usually have a band backing them up, I think they sound just as good, if not better, when it's just them singing along while Jesse plays guitar. It reminds me of the days when they were first starting out. Those were some of the best days of my life. Sam. Lost in time. Tell me what's real. This place, it never changes. Oliver. Time to get lost. I'll take the highway. Don't want to know where I'm going, but I'll tell you when I get there. I'm gonna take my time. Roads keep stretching on, and I've got everything to find. I'm leaving tonight. Please don't miss me when I'm gone. Everything will be alright. Jesse. Under the sky, I see myself. This face, it's seen the ages. Corey. Can't stay below. I'll take the highway. I'm not going to turn around, but I'll think of you when starlight fills my eyes. Gonna take my time. Roads keep stretching on, and I've got everything to find. I'm leaving tonight. Please don't miss me when I'm gone. Everything will be alright. Josh. And I can't promise you that I'll come back to stay, but I will remember. Oh, I will remember. Promise you'll remember. Gonna take my time. Roads keep stretching on, and I've got everything to find. I'm leaving tonight. Please don't miss me when I'm gone. Everything will be alright. Chapter 6. I want to wake up to your smiling face. Wake up to your arms around me. Why does this night have to end? Tell me, why has morning found me? If I have to wake up, wake up. Please let me wake up with you. Song, Wake Up. Artist, The Kind of September. From the album, Meet Me on the Midway. To the fans excited for the new album and the world tour, the guys have written a short book. It's called The Tour Bus Diaries, and is filled with all of their stories and personal experiences from the road. Some of the entries are kind of short, some are long, some are insightful reflections, some are rants. Most of them are pretty hilarious. All in all, it's the guys' way of sharing a little bit of themselves with the fans. It's their way of thanking them for always being there. The book also includes a lot of pictures from behind the scenes that fans have never seen before. I actually took a few of them on my phone. All in all, it's a fun book and I really think the fans will enjoy it. To celebrate the release of The Tour Bus Diaries, the guys are participating in a big meet and greet book signing at one of the New York convention centers. The event sold out within minutes. We arrived at the convention center early this morning, long before any of the fans or media representatives showed up. While there were a few of the more passionate fans staked out near the back entrance where the guys were escorted in, despite Stan and security trying to hurry them along, the guys lingered back, took pictures, and signed a few early autographs. Now the guys are getting ready to head out to the signing table. Joni will be standing out with them to monitor the crowd and to keep everything moving efficiently. We only have 3 hours, and we, especially the guys, want to make sure that every fan gets a chance to interact with them. As for me, I'm once again on camera duty. Just photography for today though, no video, and that's okay. It's always interesting to see fans' reactions to actually meeting the guys. Some of them scream, some of them break down and cry, some can't stop talking. Having known them as long as I have, I've never been starstruck by any of them. Well, except for Sam. And that was even before he was famous. However, I know for a fact I'm not immune to the fangirl phenomenon. Case in point, last year at this big international music award thing, I ran into this really hot Irish singer-songwriter, and I kid you not, I could not remember how to breathe. His eyes were just so blue, and his accent was so dreamy. I think I rambled on about how beautiful he was and how much I loved his music for a good 5 minutes before he finally determined I was psycho and walked away. Oliver told me that he felt the same way when he was introduced to Emma Watson. It happens. Of course, when it happens to Oliver, he comes off as adorable. With me, it's just creepy. Plus, now I know that if things don't work out with Sam, I definitely don't have a shot with the hot Irish guy. As the next group is escorted in, I can't help but overhear a conversation a few older girls are having. He's so sexy. I just hope that those rumors about that one girl aren't true. The first one says, she's tall and wearing turquoise skinny jeans, which are actually really cute with her black and white top. I don't know who she's talking about, but if it involves rumors, I can only imagine it's Sam. They probably are. I mean, it was pretty much confirmed by Corey's girlfriend, says the second one, a blonde with black glasses and a purple scarf. God, I can't stand her. Have you seen the way she talks to fans on Twitter? Their third friend asks. She's wearing a pink dress and gray boots. Why do all these girls dress cuter than I do? No, I unfollowed her and Corey after she said that designers shouldn't cater to anyone bigger than a size 4, the first one mutters. What a bitch! I can't believe Corey would go for someone like her. He's just so sweet. I mean, I never had a crush on him. I'm totally an Oliver girl. But I always thought Corey was really smart and sensitive. Why would he put up with someone like that? The second girl demands. Because she's gorgeous and looks matter. The third one grumbles. Oh well, at least we still have Sam. The first girl sighs. Maybe, the second girl reminds her. No, I know Sam. He's better than that. He'd never do that to his fans because he loves us so much. The first girl replies. You know, one of these days he will get a girlfriend. The third one says. Of course he is. It's going to be me. The first girl says with a laugh. Oh, whatever. The second girl rolls her eyes as they're called forward to meet the guys. Whatever hard feelings they had completely melt away as the guys smile and ask them how they're doing. All 3 of them are squealing, and the third one is even jumping up and down. The first one ends up getting a big hug from Sam, which shouldn't make me jealous. But come on, who wants to see the guy they like hugging another girl? Especially one who has just pretty much professed her undying love for him. I tell you, sometimes I think life would be so much easier if I had just fallen in love with an accountant. Compared to most days, being a working member of the kind of September's inner circle, today was kind of easy. For the guys, the book signing was actually pretty low energy, which is a rare occurrence for them. It's true that they had about 1,000 different conversations with 1,000 different fans. Maybe not that many. I don't think we had that many bucks. But at least they got to stay seated most of the time. Of course, Josh is moaning about his wrist hurting from signing so many autographs, and Sam keeps saying they're all going to end up with carpal tunnel by the time they're 22. But I think they all had a lot of fun. Now, Sam, Oliver, and I are sitting out on the balcony watching the sunset over the New York skyline, while the others are inside watching movies.
I can't believe the others are missing this,
Sam remarks, shooting a photo with his camera. The sun had just disappeared beneath the horizon, and the city lights are glowing brighter and brighter against the hazy orange and maroon backdrop of the darkening sky. I watch the sun set from countless balconies all over the world, and yet somehow it always feels like the first time.
I know,
Oliver says.
Growing up back home in London, I've always dreamed of visiting New York. It was one of my goals in life. Make it to New York. Now I've made it dozens of times and I'm still dreaming of it. I actually have been thinking of buying a home for myself here.
You should. Then we'd all have a place to stay. I grin.
Hey, we should all just move in with Oliver,
Sam announces. Yeah, we could be like the Brady Bunch. I laugh.
Except minus the weird sibling relationships and retro 70s hairstyles,
Sam adds.
I don't know. I think I could sport a bowl cut,
Oliver says. Yes, you'd look absolutely smashing, love. I grin, mimicking his accent. Sometimes Oliver's British roots come out more than usual. And more often than not, we like to tease him about it.
Besides, no one should ever sport a bowl cut unless they're named John, Paul, George, or Ringo,
Sam says. Ringo is my favorite, I say as a bit of an afterthought.
But George is your favorite musically,
Sam adds on. Oh, he knows me. I mean, that's the number one quality you look for in a guy, right? Being able to correctly identify your favorite Beatles?
I thought girls liked Paul,
Oliver mutters. But Ringo has the best personality, I insist.
How do you know? You never met him. She has a thing for drummers,
Sam smirks. Shut up, I do not. This is one of our things, but it's one that honestly I could live without. Long story short, when I was a junior in high school, I went to a music banquet with one of the drummers from marching band. He wasn't exactly the best date ever. He talked a lot, but he didn't seem to care about anything I had to say. He also had really bad acne and got a little handsy as the night progressed. He claimed it was because I was taller than him, but that's no excuse. Needless to say, I don't look back on that night with very much nostalgia, just a bit of contempt and nausea.
Really? Do you have a thing for Chris?
Oliver asks. Chris Ortega is the band's drummer. He's a great guy, but for one thing, he has a girlfriend. For another, he watches really weird cartoons, and they kind of freak me out. And finally, I have a thing for someone else. Coincidentally, the one teasing me about my thing for drummers. No, I do not have a thing for Chris. I don't have a thing for drummers.
That's good, because I think Angela might be able to beat you up,
Oliver tells me. Angela is Chris's girlfriend, and she's really tall, and used to wrestle recreationally in college. She could totally beat me up. Thankfully, she's also really sweet, and she and I get along pretty well. Then I guess it's a good thing I don't have a thing for drummers.
Methinks the lady doth protest too much,
Sam remarks in a sing-song voice that is nowhere near as sexy as his regular singing voice. Methinks you're about to get punched in the face, I counter.
You wouldn't hit me, I'm too pretty.
Wanna bet? And so I do hit him. Not hard, and definitely not in the face, but I punch him playfully on the arm. He, in turn, goes to grab my ear, but I slap his wrist away. For some reason, this makes him laugh, and he reaches over his chair to try and tickle my ribs, resulting in me almost tripping over in my lounge chair and spilling my glass of water all over myself. Oh my god, that's cold! I shriek. It's almost November in New York, which makes it even colder.
Mel, I'm so sorry.
I don't know if he's actually sorry or not. He's laughing too much to tell.
Let me get you a towel.
Oliver stands up and rushes inside. Technically, Sam should be the one rushing to get me a towel since, let's be honest, this is his fault. But I can't say I mind being left alone on a balcony with him, overlooking the magnificent glow of the lights of New York City. Even if my pants are cold and soaking wet.
I really am sorry, Mel.
Sam apologizes again. This time he really does sound sincere, though he is still kind of giggling.
Are you okay?
I'm fine, I say. To be totally honest, I'm still laughing too, and shivering slightly. He notices.
Here,
he says, slipping his jacket off and tossing it over me. It's warm and leather, and it smells like him. I love it. I also love just being out here with him, almost to the point where I'm wishing Oliver wasn't coming back. Part of it was because I love being alone with Sam, no matter what. But I especially love being alone with him here, in the city. There's something about New York. I can't explain it. It's less of a place and more of an experience. To see it and to hear it is all to feel it. It's the feeling of adventure and being away from home and totally being free. The city lives and breathes and thrives, and its energy stays with you long after you leave it. It's a place to lose yourself, and I realize looking into Sam's smiling face, it's a place to dream.